10 stones that look like animals. Beauty often comes from clarity, brilliance, and rarity in the world of gems and minerals. But sometimes nature creates something even more fascinating. Stones that capture the essence of life. Whether through shape, pattern, or inclusion, these geological wonders mimic living creatures by accident. These aren't artifacts or sculptures. Natural formations are created over millions of years through pressure, heat, and chemical processes. In today's episode, we explore 10 of the most fascinating rocks that look like animals. Some hold ancient life, while others allude to it through shape or pattern. Either way, they all prove one thing. Earth has a strange and wild imagination, and you as a reader are about to embark on a journey to discover these rare and unique creations. Remember to press and hold the like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 10th, Botryoidal Hematite. Botryoidal Hematite is one of nature's strangest and most unforgettable creations, not because of its color or brightness, but because of its shape. Its surface comprises metallic bubbles, some as small as peas, others nearly an inch across, that cluster together like amphibian eggs, like the spine of a toad, or like the armored back of some ancient sea creature we've never named. It's called botryoidal because it resembles a grape, but no serious collector stops there. They see something more primal, a living cast iron texture. Running your finger over a piece of botryoidal hematite is like touching a memory of movement. It feels alive. It feels like it remembers how to breathe. Some specimens sparkle with a metallic silver, others absorb the light into a deep, oily black. But what they all have in common is that you don't just see the shape of the animal. You feel it. You feel the spine, the muscles, the flesh. You feel its presence. What makes this stone truly special is that these features aren't imaginary. They're not images or patterns. They're three-dimensional, formed naturally over thousands of years as iron-rich liquid cooled and solidified in underground chambers. No two specimens are exactly alike. Each is a sculpture that no human hand has ever created. Where other gemstones might suggest wings, eyes, or a silhouette, this stone embodies them. Its animal quality doesn't come from metaphor, it comes from the material. Ranked 9th, Labradorite Wolf. Wolf under the rainbow. Labradorite is a hidden firestone. At first glance, it looks gray, unassuming, almost dull. But tilt it a little, let the light slide across its polished surface, and it explodes in flashes of electric blue, forest green, golden orange, and icy silver. This shimmering phenomenon, called labradorescence, is what makes labradorite so extraordinary. But now and then, in the perfect light and the perfect cut, something more than color emerges. Something wild. The unmistakable silhouette of a wolf. It doesn't come all at once. It reveals itself slowly, as if waking from a dream. A pair of pointed ears, the slope of the muzzle, a single bright eye that seems to stare right through you. Some people see the wolf howling across the moonlit sky. Others see it standing guard in the darkness. But no matter the form, the impression is always the same. This is not a stone you are looking at. It is a spirit caught in the light. What makes this phenomenon so powerful is not just its beauty, but its elusiveness. The wolf does not appear to everyone and not in every corner. You have to move with intention. You have to observe. As in nature, the wolf appears only to those who respect its presence. This is not a stone that reveals its secrets quickly. It requires patience, attention, and a deep respect for nature. But when it does, the reward is a profound connection to the wild and ancient spirit it embodies. When you hold it, your intuition will sharpen. When you see it glow, you will feel something ancient and wild staring back. It is not a creature of flesh and blood, but a creature of memory and myth. A guardian of the inner world carved from feldspar and flame. Ranked 8th, Moss Agate, Turtle in Moss. Moss agate is often described as an earthy stone, not because it's brown or rocky, but because it seems to carry the breath of an entire forest within. Dark green strands flow through its transparent body like fern shadows in the morning mist. But in some rare specimens, those mossy inclusions are more than just foliage. They gather, shape, and swirl to form what looks like a small, hidden turtle. What makes turtle moss agate special isn't its vivid appearance, it's its natural feel. The turtle doesn't jump out at you. It waits like a real turtle, hidden in the undergrowth, blending into the green. And that's precisely what makes this stone so magical. It reminds us to slow down, stay rooted, and carry our wisdom gently and steadily. For centuries, turtles have symbolized longevity, stability, and protection. In Native American and Eastern traditions, turtles are guardians of the earth, sacred creatures that move between realms, earth, water, and spirit. So when a turtle appears in a stone formed from time, water, and minerals, it's more of an invitation to listen than a coincidence. That's why turtle moss agate has earned its place among the most fascinating animal-shaped gemstones. This isn't a stone trying to be art. It's nature doing what nature does best, speaking silent truths in a language only the patient can hear. Ranked 7th, Agate Geode, monkey-faced dinosaur. Agate Geode is one of those rare geological accidents that feels like an intentional work of art. On the outside, it's a rough, gray-brown lump, unassuming, dusty, ordinary. But open it up, and you'll find a cavern filled with sparkling quartz crystals, surrounded by bands of agate that frame the cavity like the outline of a jaw. In some extreme cases, what you see is more than beauty. It's a face, a snarling mouth, glowing eye sockets, a hollow snout studded with crystal points that look like teeth. Collectors call them monkey-faced geodes, or dinosaur skulls. Once you see one, you can't help but see it. The resemblance is striking, not abstract, not metaphorical, but incredibly real. The geode becomes more than a rock. It becomes a fossilized scream, frozen in the roar. What's most fascinating is that the image doesn't appear on the surface, it seems from within. It's three-dimensional, organic, and strangely symmetrical, as if nature were shaping a warning or a memory. The void becomes a mouth. The bands become skin, the crystals become eyes, fangs, and even a brain. And all of it formed from nothing more than minerals, water, and time. It's pareidolia at its best. The brain recognizes faces that aren't intended, but even knowing that the impact remains. Holding one of these polar blocks in your hand feels more like the remnant of something alive, something ancient, than a rock. It's more than a mineral specimen. It's a message from a time before time. Ranked 6th, Leopard Jasper, leopard skin. Leopard Jasper is a stone that doesn't whisper, it walks. At first glance, its spotted surface looks almost too perfect to be natural. Deep ochre, deep terracotta, charcoal black, arranged in tight, organic clusters that mimic the fur of a big cat with uncanny precision. This stone looks like a leopard's skin, and when you hold it, it feels just as alive. This isn't a gemstone that suggests shape or silhouette. It doesn't require interpretation. It announces itself boldly. You see fur, you see spots, you see muscle, speed, and stealth. Formed from ancient volcanic flows and mineral-rich sediments, Leopard Jasper crystallizes under pressure and heat, not to dazzle but to remember something wild. It's as if the earth itself has pressed a memory of the forest into the stone, and that memory is primal. In many spiritual traditions, the leopard symbolizes personal power, not loud, not showy, but quiet, calculating, unstoppable. Shamans across Central American and African cultures believe this stone connects them to their animal guides, allowing the wearer to walk with the leopard, see through the predator's eyes, and move gracefully even in the dark. That's why leopard skin jasper is among the most vivid of animal-like stones. It carries the spirit of the leopard not through its image, but through its pattern, energy, and intention. Ranked 5th, Agate Owl Eye in agate. Agate owl eye is one of nature's most hypnotic illusions, and most accurate. Within the layered world of agate, where bands of silica swirl and fold like forgotten timelines, two perfect concentric circles sometimes appear side by side. They are balanced and symmetrical. They don't sparkle or glow, but they stare, like the eyes of a midnight owl watching its prey. And just like that, a simple gemstone becomes a guardian, a presence. These owl eyes in agate aren't familiar, but they're not random either. They form when mineral-rich liquid fills a cavity in stages, depositing each agate ring over time. Most of the time, the bands are irregular, but now and then, the Earth finds the perfect balance, giving us two pupils cut into stone. It's not carved, it's not imagined, it's just there. Collectors value these specimens for more than just their aesthetics. In the folklore of many cultures, owls are symbols of higher awareness, creatures that can see in the dark, sense the unseen, and observe what others miss. So when those eyes appear in a gemstone, formed by silence, pressure, and time, it's almost spiritual. The stone is not just an object, but an observer. Owl eye agate is a fascinating hybrid of geology and illusion. It's an actual mineral structure, but its emotional effect is psychological, even mystical. Something is unnerving about being observed by a stone, but at the same time, something comforting is comforting, like you're not alone. Ranked fourth, Malachite Butterfly, natural butterfly wings. Malachite is a patterned gemstone, rich, hypnotic, and alive with movement. But in some cuts, something extraordinary happens. The swirling green bands don't just decorate the surface. They form shapes. They unfold. They reflect. And suddenly you're no longer looking at a stone. You're staring at a butterfly. Not a sculpture, not a symbol, but a pair of naturally formed wings, symmetrical, flowing, and perfectly balanced. On one side, a deep forest green arc. On the other, it's a mirror image. The bands stretch and curve like the veins on a spider's silk, just as they would on real wings that catch the light in a shaft of jungle sunlight. It's subtle, striking, unmissable. This phenomenon, often called the Malachite butterfly, isn't rare because malachite isn't common. It's rare because nature doesn't usually create such perfect symmetry. For that to happen, the mineral must grow in concentric, even layers, undisturbed for long periods. Then, a jeweler must cut it at the right angle, revealing the hidden wings. In addition to its beauty, the butterfly's shape carries powerful symbolism. In nearly every culture on Earth, butterflies represent transformation, rebirth, and the soul itself. Seeing a butterfly emerge from an ancient block of copper ore is like witnessing metamorphosis in a rock. And when that butterfly forms naturally, not by human hands, but by time, minerals, and pressure, it feels like the Earth is sending a message. Change is coming, and it's beautiful. Ranked third, Picture Jasper, horse or wildlife. Picture Jasper is where geography meets canvas. This stone holds something quieter, more profound, a story. Its sandy browns, golden ochres, and charcoal lines swirl and layer into detailed atmospheric landscapes. You might think they were hand-painted, but they're not. Every ridge, hill, and horizon within this stone was shaped by the earth, not by the stroke of an artist's brush. You might see the silhouette of a horse galloping across a dusty plateau, or the still silhouette of a deer frozen among imaginary trees. Some specimens show the entire spine of a bison, or the proud arc of its horns beneath a fossilized cloudy sky. And when you see it, really see it, the moment takes your breath away. You're no longer looking at a rock, you're looking at a memory. Picture Jasper is remarkable because none of it is carved, painted, or forced. These natural paintings are created by layers of mineral-rich sediment and water that settle slowly over time, often millions of years, forming multi-layered bands that resemble the real world. It's not designed, it's discovered. The horse is the most iconic image in Picture Jasper, and the experience becomes almost spiritual. The horse symbolizes freedom, movement, and instinct. To see it running through the stone is to feel movement in something entirely still. It's as if the earth once saw a wild horse and decided to remember. These specimens are prized not just for their beauty, but also for their storytelling. Each is a snapshot of nature, a moment only revealed when the rough stone is cut and polished. You never know what's inside until the blade cuts through. That's magic. Ranked second, Septarian Nodule, natural tortoise shell. Septarian Nodule is a stone that has been carved by time itself. Its cracked, earthy surface and bold geometric patterns make it look almost exactly like a turtle's shell, ancient, armored, and wise. These nodules formed over 50 million years ago when sedimentary materials like clay, calcite, and aragonite settled, hardened, and cracked under geological pressure. The result is a mosaic of earthy browns and golden yellows separated by darker veins, a naturally symmetrical structure that mirrors the segmented plates on a turtle's back. What makes this stone so fascinating isn't just how much it resembles a turtle's shell, it's how much that resemblance awakens in us. The turtle symbolizes protection, longevity, and steadfast wisdom in almost every culture. And the Septarian Nodule doesn't just remind us of a turtle visually. It feels like a turtle. Steadfast, ancient, unshakable. Holding it is like having a still fossil, the kind of slow, steady strength that can weather centuries without a word. The cracks in the Septarian, called septaria, form naturally as the stone shrinks and heals over time. Mineral-rich fluids seep into these cracks and harden, leaving striking, almost engineered contrasts. But nothing here is artificial. These are the fingerprints of time preserved in the stone. That's why the Septarian Nodule deserves to be one of the most iconic animal-shaped stones in the natural world. This stone is about protection, carrying your world on your back, knowing when to retreat, and moving forward when the time is right. In the first place, spider amber, real spiders in amber. Amber with spider inclusions is more than just a gemstone. It's a perfect fossil moment. While most gemstones sparkle with fire and brilliance, this one glows from within, drawing you into a frozen moment some 45 million years ago. Inside a drop of hardened tree resin is a spider. Whole body, legs extended, suspended midair. It's not fossilized in stone. It's not compressed into oblivion. It's preserved intact by time itself. It's one of nature's rare wonders. Fewer than 1 in 10,000 amber specimens contain noticeable spider inclusions. Even fewer survive through the ages with such clarity. For this to exist, countless variables must align. The resin must flow thick and fast. The spider must die instantly. Decomposition must stop. And then geological time must cherish the capsule, not crush it. What you hold in your hand is not just a beautiful gem. It is a biological time capsule, a window into a prehistoric forest. Museums classify them as collectibles and evidence of life before humans appeared on Earth. And when you look at one, something is stirring. Not just awe, but humility. Once fragile and unnoticed, this tiny spider has survived continents, climate change, and extinction events. And now it lies in your hands, wanting nothing more than to be remembered. And that is why spider amber tops the list. Of all the animal-like rocks, this is the only one that doesn't look like one. It contains one. While others suggest the shape, form, or spirit of living creatures, this one includes the real thing. A creature that once crawled across the forest floor, now immortalized not by myth but by molecular truth. These stones challenge the boundaries between life and minerals, whether formed by coincidence or something more profound in the Earth's subconscious memory. They speak to the innate human tendency to find meaning in shape, faces in chaos, and spirit in stone. They don't just sparkle, they tell stories. They don't just reflect light, they reflect life. Which stone impressed you the most? Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to follow similar content.